Welcome back, folks, to World of Warships Legends. I'm Soopa-Dave, and today we are taking a look at the Monarch. Now, if you are watching this video very soon after it has come out in a few days, in the ships category, you will see a Monarch is a limited offer global XP ship. I don't know for how long it'll be there, but it is there. And at tier 7, that is very loaded with good ships all around. This is a very overlooked ship, and I think it's one of my favorite. Now that I've started playing it a little bit, I got it early on, played a match in it, had fun, and then left it alone. This ship is very overlooked and is a very strong ship at the tier. Now, especially when it comes to getting this for global XP, this is I'm not saying a must-have, but this should be high on your list right now. Reason being is even though it doesn't say it in the overview, on the ship overview, it doesn't say it has the quarter pen HE that normal British battleships have. A lot of them, besides, I think Warspite doesn't and Hood doesn't. They're more AP focused. This does, in fact, have quarter pen HE, meaning that it can pen 95 millimeters of armor. Also, the ship happens to be very useful with AP as well. You could build it both ways. I've built it both ways. It works both ways. Now, because of the accuracy on it, it's not super ideal. It kind of has that British accuracy where you shoot stuff and you get a good reload. But sometimes you're like, that should have hurt them a lot more. And then because of that, I have a tendency to use HE. Them shells that are kind of missing and don't do anything with AP have a tendency to hit and do some significant damage with HE. Just my opinion. You can build it both ways. Normally, on a ship I build, you can build both ways. I lean into AP, not this one. I slightly lean into HE. Slightly. That being said, we're using Azure Lane Nelson. Now, the most important inspiration is D. Ravel for reload. And because this is my commander I use for HE ships, I have a do for not and on as well. Now, I want to be very clear. Something I see people make a mistake of is they'll put do for net on something to help the HE like Conquer, but D. Ravel, in my opinion, is the better inspiration normally. Now, in this case, I have both of them, so I'm definitely helping my ship. But to take the 5.5% on your reload time, that's helping your damage, but it's helping both shell types, not one. So that's why I do feel like D. Ravel is more important than do for net. That being said, we're using Flammable Cannoneer, Big 7 marksmanship, and Master Mechanic is almost a must. So if you're going to shoot AP out of this, I would use John Fisher and make sure you're using that Master Mechanic. Fight fire with fire. With our modifications, we're using Aiming Systems Mod 1. And for the second and third slot, prop and concealment is always. Now in the third slot, we're taking the Mean Battery Mod 3 for reload. And you don't have the range and dispersion one, which would actually be kind of handy on here. Because it would help with your accuracy a little bit. And to be honest, British ships don't have the world's best turret traverse, okay? So, but this is a bright spot of this ship. It, on this build, has 4 absolutely good super heals. Now, the heal rate is actually even better than Conquer, but it is slightly shorter. It is 17 seconds. But you do get this back pretty quickly. Like, it reloads in 100 seconds. I believe if we switch over here, we can look at the other British battleships. And believe it or not, this heal is a little bit better. Let's see, let's get off of tier 7. This heal has a little bit more power than Conquer. It's slightly shorter. So the heal on Conquer is a little bit better, but you can see it reloads quicker. So instead of the 2-minute reload, you get the 1-minute reload, meaning this is arguably one of the best heals in the entire game. It's as good, in my opinion, because of that reload as Conquer. And also, I think the only one it probably wouldn't be is Marlborough's. Marlborough's is really good. It has the best heal for the British. So, that being said, let's look at stats. 60,000 health. Now, it isn't a lot of health, but because of them heals, and you basically can reprint your entire ship with like a 3D reprinter when you get hit. As long as you're not taking a ton of Citadel damage, you can heal basically everything back. This is a very tanky ship. Artillery, you have 9 15-inch guns. These things are pretty good. The turret traverse is pretty terrible, all right? And the one downside of the ship is the turret traverse is not amazing. But you can see the shell damage at 7,600. That's real high. The shell damage on HE on this thing is pretty good. I always have a personal rule. If it's about half or a little bit more, especially if it has quarter pen, I have a tendency to lean into HE. And this one is definitely over half. 7,500 out of 13.8 thousand. But don't underestimate this AP. It is a very solid, especially if you get some accurate salvos out of it. And that's the one thing here is you can take the observation plane to help with that, or you can take the catapult fighter. There's no reason to take the secondary one really on this. But I do really like these main guns. They're not always super accurate, but man, that HE is powerful, and you can start fires with it. But the big thing is the amount of damage that you can do with it. This is kind of like a poor man's Conquer in a lot of ways, or Marlboro. I like Marlboro a lot as well. AA defense, it's not overwhelmingly good. A lot of your AA is in close. It's not the world's worst. Like if somebody's gonna focus you, they're gonna lose some of their planes, but with your heals, you can get a lot of it back. So planes aren't the worst thing to happen to you. Maneuverability. It says on the overview, slow and unwieldy. And this is why I don't show a lot of these overview things, is it misses stuff, right? Or I don't think it's very good. It says hidden, it's a battleship. It's not really that hidden even for a battleship. It says unwieldy, but it's really not that unwieldy in my opinion. The turret traverse is not great, but that has nothing to do with that. And it also has a quarter pen HE, which in my opinion should be up there. But maneuverability, it ain't that bad. Is it the world's fastest battleship? Nope. Is it actually it's not a bad turning circle. And the rudder isn't that bad. All right. Concealment is 13, which is okay for a battleship, but again, it's a battleship. You are not sneaking up on anybody in open water. With my stats, as you can see, only had a few matches. The match you guys are going to see is actually an older match. I believe it's the first match I ever got into the ship with. And definitely a fun one, okay? So you can see my average in this ship is pretty good, right? It's solid. I'm averaging 1.2 million potential damage against me, and I've survived 6 out of 8 matches. So I'm taking a lot of heat and surviving quite a bit. Like, there's not much that if you're playing this ship well, the one thing the main guns are very good, AP and HE, which makes it super universal. But the other thing is the ability to tank in this thing is pretty good when you have them heals, and you see the armor. It is actually pretty solid armor for what it is, right? Now it's if you go broadside, that's weakness to everybody. But on this ship, you can get away with it a little bit more than you would think. Look at this Citadel. It's a very low Citadel, okay? That is one of these bright spots. That is probably one of the lowest Citadels in the entire game, all right? That is super hard to Citadel Monarch. It just is. You have to do it with American shells basically at range. That's really the one thing that can Citadel you. You're pretty protected. It's good armor. You got a lot of, obviously your deck is, you're going to get some HE pins on your deck, right? But that's not the end of the world, all right? So you can heal back that fire damage. And as you can see, we're on Atlantic, and this is I have a lot of fun on this map. I know a lot of people don't like it, but I actually don't mind it. And we spawn middle, which, if you guys know, I have a tendency to stay middle. Now, there's a few maps that especially maybe in a destroyer, you want to be real careful of the middle, like Two Brothers. There's a few others, right? There's a few of them that I wouldn't recommend it because you put yourself in a bad position. That being said, almost all the time, I'm taking the middle, unless there's obviously a reason to not take the middle. You guys know it's my pet peeve, not taking the middle, because you can affect the entire match. And you're going to kind of see that in this match. We're going to be pushing up here in Monarch. And the one thing I will say about this Monarch is it is a ship that has caught me off guard. Now, I know what some people are going to say, Dave, you like all ships. I do. But this is one that I think is going to catch a lot of people off guard, especially as it's in the shop right now for global XP. So there's no money for this. I don't try to sell ships. I just tell you my opinion. Now, I happen to be a very upbeat person, I think, in a lot of ways, where I tend to find good things about ships. There's not really a bad... I'll be honest. Sometimes these guns troll you with accuracy. It's kind of what strayed me away a little bit from the AP. But outside of that, really, it's not awful. I mean, this is a very beginner-friendly ship. One of the most beginner-friendly. That's what I should say. That's a good phrase to talk about this ship. If you're a person that is like newer to the game and you're thinking about what your first global XP is going to be, in my opinion, this is a good one to have. Now, right here, this was my first match in the ship. I'll be honest, I probably should have loaded AP here, but I had a double fire, and I was thinking, well, we could get a quick double fire on this guy, right? I'm actually going to get unlucky with this, and I'm actually, to be fair, you can see I only hit one shell, and sometimes that does happen in this ship. So AP really wouldn't have been that great either, okay, on that salvo. So this match was showcasing, I got into it, I wanted to feel what the HE was like, right? And I've done both. Like I said, you can do AP, and I think this thing, especially when you get it a little bit up close and personal, you can really do some damage with the AP as well. Now this match, because we have two secondary ships in the middle, I don't have that ability, right? Like I can't rush an Atlantico and a Schroeder. I can take a world's most amount of fires, but there is no heal that can fix stupid. And that would be just stupid for me to charge in. Now, I want to say kudos to our cruiser player. Our cruiser player is going to use island cover and be very effective playing up close in a ship that's hard to play up close. And he's going to keep himself pretty healthy. As you guys know, our destroyers, we're going to have unfortunate. We have one that's AFK. It's actually a player that I've seen AFK multiple times. But he's going to be AFK the entire match. Also, we're going to have a Jaeger that had a rough go in this match. It happens. Not ripping on him, but it happens. And this is going to be a very tough match in the war, right? I got to be careful how much I push in. I want to push in, but again, against the Atlantico, and Atlantico, not a smart option, right? You can make yourself in a world of hurt, and especially in a match like this, at the time, one thing I will say, this is a little bit older a match. Like I said, I have 90-something matches I wanted to showcase. The Monarch popped in the shop, and like, I have a match to showcase this ship. It's really solid. But this is an older match, so you're going to notice aircraft spotting still gets you spotted. That is one reason I haven't pushed up. So now, in this scenario, you might want to push up, get AP loaded, and smack an Atlantico, right? Like, catch him off guard while he's broadside, you can smack him. Our cruiser here, I believe he's in a French cruiser. He's doing a solid job. Like, he's done a pretty good job. As you can see, he's gotten himself close to this island where the battleships can't shoot at him. So if you're watching this, kudos to you, man. And we do get a double fire. So we had a little bit of a slow start here, but we have our health. We're doing well. We're holding off our side, right? And We haven't had the world's best luck with fires, but that's okay. This is one of them ships that, because you can pen 95 millimeters of armor, and it has that good quarter pen HE, you know, that the British battleships have. When you hit stuff with these shells, you're gonna feel it, right? We just did get a double fire now on the Atlantico, so he's in a world of hurt. Now you see, I'm gonna load AP here. 2 reasons: the Georgia's broadside, and that cruiser's looking broadside, obviously. So we're looking to take that shot. Now the island's getting in the way here, but I see Charles Martel is actually pushing. We're gonna get crossfire here, and we're trying to help save our battleship. And it was a little bit too late, but I'm trying to let the carrier know, because remember, at time carrier can spot for you. I'm trying to let them know, hey, I need some spotting over here before it goes bad on me. We're going to shoot AP at Charles Martel. He's angling at us. A very interesting thing here. We do get a decent salvo on him without getting a Citadel. But do you notice how I didn't overpen that cruiser? That's one thing I like about using Azure Lane Nelson, is a lot of times you're not overpenning them cruisers on them important shots that you need. Now, Georgia is, you know, it doesn't look like it, but he's definitely angled to us. He could trick you to make you think you have a broadside shot, but he's obviously not in the world's best place right now, because he is the farthest. You know, him and Atlantico are up here right in the same spot, and I can basically just angle to both of them right now. Also, we're going to try to keep that cat from getting reset, as you see we do, and we have a high caliber now. Game's picking up. And to be quite frank, it's not like there's 5 battleships in this match. There's only 2. And so to do what we've done, right, we're doing some significant damage, but we're doing it in a match where we've, it's not like we have 5 battleships to put on fire and keep on fire, right? We've had a couple over here. We've shot the Martel, the Schroeder, help get rid of them. And that's a big thing here. As you see, we're starting to rack up a little bit of damage here with the fires. Now, I'm going to switch to AP because of seeing the Ochakov. Also, I could use it to finish off Atlantico, because we're, there's not much he can do. And at the time, I thought he was going to go broadside, and that was part of it. And I'm a big fan of when I can use AP to do it. Now here, we're going to put a decent shot out, and you're going to see here, we're going to switch back to HE to keep that Georgia on fire. And we get a little bit unlucky on our salvo, it happens, and we're not able to fire on, or to finish off Atlantico. Now, here I thought, well, somebody's going to shoot Atlantico. I'll just worry about Georgia. I don't want to waste my shot. I seen the shells coming in, so I shoot at Georgia. Atlantico stays alive. I'm a person that tries not to kill steal when available, and I don't feel like wasting my shots. If somebody shoots at guys and he dies, which happens a lot, then I feel like, oh man, I just wasted a shot. But sometimes I see the argument of just killing the person up, because you see he got another salvo on me. At this point, it doesn't really matter. I'm trying to stay where everybody can spot me and they can focus me, because I have a ton of health in this ship. We still have 2 heals left. So basically, we have 3 more Monarchs that they have to get through. Now, as you can see here, Georgia's pushing in. He's kind of in a tough spot here. And this has been a real close game the entire time. One thing I want you guys to note here. We have 150k. We don't have a wither, meaning almost all my damage is from the shells hitting and not fires. Okay? That's what I wanted to showcase in this match. The HE is just so solid in this. As you can see, we've loaded up AP. Now we're going to go back to HE for this cruiser, and we're going to try to push up on this cruiser. I get it. A lot of people will run from a cruiser. That is not the best thing to do to a cruiser. You want to help get rid of it? Get up close and personal. If you can, if you have the ability to, and don't eat torps, right? Ochakov, Not too scary up range. If he's kiting away, yep, that's a little bit more scary. So we're going to move up and try to get rid of him. And you can see I just got a Citadel with HE. That was HE. We put him on fire and we Citadeled him. And that's one thing about this ship. Like, you can Citadel a lot of stuff because that accident armor pen on ships that have them exposed Citadels, right? Right here, we're going to load AP up because he is broadside and it's a cruiser up close. We get one Citadel and he's dead. So, a good showcase that the AP and HE can do a lot of damage. And we have 180,000 damage without a wither, meaning our HE is doing that much damage, right? A lot of times you see these high damage in HE, but when you get into this, like the Conqueror, or ships like this, Conqueror, Marlborough, you can do a ton of damage with just HE and not needing, not needing to rely on your fire chance. Because if we got lucky, really lucky on fire chance, we're talking about a really gnarly game probably. That being said, we speed it up a little bit to where the carrier is coming. You're also going to see the carrier is going to start to focus, meaning we're really not going to be able to shoot down a whole lot of planes, which it kind of sucks because they're, yeah, if you get hyper focused, the heals can save you from a carrier, but again, you're not going to be, shredding planes in this thing. You're not getting clear skies every game. So here towards the end of the match, you're going to see we're going to try to get up here and get rid of this carrier. But just kind of showcasing just the damage potential of HE without even fires, right? We got a Citadel with HE. The AP you can see on that shot was fantastic. I highly recommend AP on cruisers in this ship because they have a lot less tendency to overpin, especially because they're 15-inch shells too. That's another thing about it. And they just happen to do a significant amount of damage either way. Just a quality overlooked ship, in my opinion. It's not a ship that I hear a lot of people talk about all the time. As you see, their carrier goes down, and you can see we had a really solid game in this ship, without even having a wither. We got our high caliber as well, a 3100 base game. Definitely helping our team win the match. You guys have a wonderful day, and I will see you folks next time. Have a good one, folks.